Question number 12, Dr. David Clark. Order. I've called order.
Better than being the past, Member.
Order. I've called Dr. David Clark.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Economic Development and reads: does he agree with Dunedin Mayor Dave Cull that central government needs to understand that we can't have a two-speed economy where Christchurch and Auckland are ripping ahead and the rest of the regions are withering? If not, why not?
Honourable Stephen
Mr.
Joyce.
Speaker, no, because the facts don't support His Worship's hypothesis. Because if you look at the most recent economic data that we have for GDP in New Zealand's regions over the last few years, the fastest growing regions are in fact Taranaki, for example, the West Coast, Otago and Southland. And another key indicator of the economic health of regional New Zealand shows that a number of regions have lower unemployment than Auckland, including Waikato, Taranaki, Bay of Plenty, West Coast and Southland.
Supplementary question, Dr. David Clark.
Given his view that regions should make the most of their local resources, why is closing the Invermay Research Centre, which the Dunedin Mayor calls a, quote, foolish, short-sighted, destructive, end quote, decision, a good idea, when the research centre is essential to growing Otago's knowledge economy?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, of course, AgResearch is considering its view at the moment, but of course I would probably defer more to the AgResearch directors and perhaps to Mr. Cull in this instance. But it's important that the government does invest hugely in high-level science and education in the Otago region. For example, Otago University, which is an excellent university, attracts the second largest level of funding of any university in the country. $277 million of taxpayer funding every year. So it is very important to invest strongly in the Otago region, but I would point out that's exactly what the government is doing.
Supplementary question, Dr. David Clark.
How does this week's announcement that the number of unemployed in Otago is at the highest level in more than 20 years square with his statement that regions, quote, need public institutions that make sound infrastructure investment decisions, administer fit-for-purpose regulation and provide services that improve local circumstances, end quote?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it is very important that we work with the regions to get the absolute fastest economic development possible. And that's why the government is involved in a large number of regional economic development initiatives in Otago. Now, I won't read the full list again for the member, but I'll give him a couple of examples which I think is very important. The government is investing $9 million directly in Dunedin fast-growing companies and R&D grants to help them develop their businesses, and they're growing businesses which are continuing. We have 200 Dunedin and Otago companies with New Zealand Trade and Enterprise Services. We fund and support the Upstart Incubator in Dunedin, and we provide capability development vouchers for a range of Dunedin businesses through the Otago Chamber of Commerce. This is very significant investments that are being made in that region.
Supplementary question, Dr. David Clark.
What does the Minister say to the 112 former Hillside employees, the 73 employees of New Zealand Post, the 85 employees at Invermay, the 460 employees at Presbyterian Support Otago, the 10 employees at PGG Wrightsons, the 30 employees at Delta, the 25 employees at O'Brien Group, the 192 employees at Summit Wool Spinners, who have all lost their jobs alongside countless government officials, and to the 64 employees at Bradkin who have had their hours reduced to 4 days a week? And how is this indicative of public institutions that support strong regional development?
Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I think the member has made a list of definitely some people have had either lost their jobs or in difficult situations in Dunedin. But I'm just not sure why he's talking down his own economy, because actually there are any number of companies that are growing in Dunedin City. And I've visited a number of them. So AT Instruments, for example, which was on the TV last night, is growing dramatically. Fisher and Paykel Appliances are investing more in research and development. Now, the member can focus on the negatives if he likes, but the challenge is to encourage investment and growth in new companies in Dunedin, and that's what we're doing.
Point of order,
Mr. Speaker.
David.
Given the highest number of Otago employed in 20 years, I seek leave to table a picture aptly expressing the region's frustration with the lack of a government.
I don't see in any way that helps informed members of the House.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. This is a picture expressing frustration. There's a huge amount of frustration in the region. Not publicly available.
The member is now challenging my ruling. Order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
A point of order, the Honourable David
Mr. Speaker,
Cull.
I apologise. Owing to the need to clarify one matter, this wasn't done when I did my supplementary questions earlier. I seek leave to table Volume 3 of MPI's Snapper plenary report. This was not publicly available, though it is eventually able to be found on their website. It has been delisted from
I will put the leave sought to table that particular document. Is there any objection?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable David Cull.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave, notwithstanding the fact that this is a press statement, for special reasons, to table Nathan Guy's statement of 15 June.
Order. That is available to any member who wants. Order. That will be available to any member who wants to look it up.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Further document?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I seek leave to table the review of sustainability and other management options for Snapper 1.
Is it a document that's freely available to members?
Well, Mr. Speaker, the underlying evidence is not freely available. It's a rather turgid 82-page document which shows the
fact that it's turgid does not necessarily make it unavailable. Is it freely available to members?
Well, it's available to those who can understand it.
If it's available to members who want to look it up, they can get it themselves.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave, Mr. Speaker, to table a...
Order. This is a point of order to seek leave.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. I seek leave to table a submission from Kaitiaki of Katikati to the Honourable Nathan Guy, expressing strong concern.
Leave us sought to table that particular document. Is there any objection? There is none.
Mr. Speaker, I seek leave to table a submission from Danielle Goodwin to the Honourable Nathan
Order.
Guy.
How many more does the member wish to seek leave?
Approximately 15,432, sir.
I will put the leave. He wants to table 15,000 approximately submissions. Is there any objection to that being done? There is.
Mr. Speaker, point of order, Mr. Speaker. The 15,000 submissions have just been received over the last 4 days. There are subsequent submissions.
The member will resume his seat. The member sought leave. The House declined. That brings to an end questions for oral answer. I have received a letter from the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove seeking to debate Understanding Order 3A.